Have you ever wondered what it truly takes to conquer all of World of Warcraft? Since achievements were added back in 2008, only a handful of players have managed to complete them all, but I won't be stopping there. Over the next however many years, I'm setting out to do what most players only ever dream of, collecting all achievements, mounts, transmogs, toys, pets, every piece of content Azeroth has to offer on a brand new account. This isn't just playing World of Warcraft, this is mastering it, uncovering hidden secrets, enduring grinds few can finish, and conquering challenges most never attempt. This is the Wolf of Goldshire, completionist of Azeroth. Okay, so last episode we managed to get to level 20 and a few basic achievements. I think it's best if we level in a different expansion to get to level 80 faster. Whilst in Stormwind there were a few things I want to do before moving onwards. I used all the meat I'd collected and got my cook into level 50, and used a linen cloth to get my tailor into level 40. I went back to the bank and deposited all the classic regents I won't be needing anymore. As you probably noticed already, my bank and bags look different, which is an add-on called Bagnon. It merges all your bags together and gives you a useful search icon. I decided to quest in the Dragon Isles as it's one of the fastest expansions to level, and it's the only one that go all the way up to level 70 anyway, so I won't be having to hop around between expansions. After making my way to the Dragon Isles, we start off at a zone called the Waking Shores, where we find that an ancient enemy called the Djaradin have started fighting with the local population. I queued for the Headless Horseman dungeon because it can only be done once a day, so why not? After killing him, I received 2 achievements, both for the exact same thing of completing the dungeon. After dealing with the Djaradin, I met up with Wrathion, who is a black dragon, and was given an achievement for collecting 100 weapon appearances. You get these achievements for each armor slot, so I won't be showing it again. The black dragonflight is near extinction, so our mission was to retrieve a black dragon egg, which we were able to do due to this guy's noble sacrifice. I took it back to the Ruby life pools, which is basically where they incubate the eggs to hatch. I decided to queue for a dungeon because I do enjoy doing them, and was given an achievement for defeating the final boss. I do believe every dungeon has an achievement for completing them, but do correct me if I'm wrong. I got to the point where I reached this quest, which I've done before, but I really don't want to do it again. However, this is a completionist journey, and therefore I'm doing every quest there is. You basically just sit here AFK listening to this old guy ramble for 20 minutes. Another reason I wanted to do the Dragon Isles expansion is for the unique flying style it unlocks. I'm personally not a fan of it, but I cannot deny that the style is definitely faster. In this flight stance, it gives you abilities that allow you to burst forward and upwards at the cost of a vigor. You used to be able to collect glyphs to upgrade your mount, but it turns out they've removed that apparently, so now it upgrades as your character levels up. After leveling up to level 30, I received 2 achievements, both for reaching level 30. My mount now flies at 420%, which is the highest it goes, so it will only make questing even faster. Once I completed a second dungeon, I got an achievement for doing so, as well as one called Got Money on My Mind, which is for looting 100 gold. Whilst questing, I saw some hippos, so I decided to tame 2 to set as my main pets, as I do like symmetry. After handing in the quest, I got an achievement for completing 250 of them. Whilst continuing the story, I found another Halloween bucket which gave me a toothpick. After using it, it gave me an achievement. Wrathion and I led an assault onto the Obsidian Citadel, the home base of the Black Dragonflight. Here we met a guy named Sabalion, a previously unknown brother of Wrathion. After dealing with the invading Djaradin, we repaired the waystone that powers each race of the dragons. Wrathion and Sabalion both wanted to sit on the Obsidian throne and rule the Black Dragons, which is where the storyline for the Wakenshore ends for now. A few quests later, we reached level 40, an achievement for finishing the zone. I was able to find a stable master, so I made it so both hippos fight together now. Meet Silly and Billy. The next zone we moved on to is the Unarian Plains. I definitely butchered that name. I believe this zone is the home of the Green Dragonflight, but they're more known for the Emerald Dream. This area consists of mainly of centaur clans, where they're faced against one powerful clan and therefore they must all unite to defeat the common enemy. Whilst doing an escort mission, I remembered a holiday achievement that involves eating a lot of candies to the point of throwing up. I collected quite a few now from the Halloween bucket, so I ate 5 and got it. I reached level 50, and after a while I completed a quest and got a reward of a new green dragon mount. These are the mounts that teach you skyriding, and during the Dragon Isles you get one for each area, so they're not rare but nice to tick off in the mounts list. The storyline once again ended at the Green Waystone, as well as another achievement. The first quest I came across in the new zone was a fishing one. During it I got an achievement for catching 25. This new zone is called the Azure Span, the home of the Blue Dragonflight. It started off with me defending against an evil group of blue dragons. After defeating them, we moved our way over to the Waystone, where we met an AI version of Sindragosa, a blue dragon that died 10,000 years ago. Whilst doing some side quests, I reached level 70, giving me 2 achievements for doing so. I also received a quest to start the next and newest WoW expansion, The War Within. It gave me a scroll to teleport to Jaina Proudmoore, so here we go. The expansion started off by teleporting an entire city to the new island, which isn't actually the first time we've done that. We get invaded by some void elf goddess who decides to blow up the entire city and kill Khadgar, one of the main characters in World of Warcraft. Whilst doing a few introductory quests, I got an achievement for doing 500 of them. The quest line took me back to Stormwind temporarily, so I decided whilst I'm here I'm going to do my own side mission. I went for a portal that took me to Boralis, the capital for the Battle of Azeroth expansion. I then used an add-on called TomTom that helped me find some treasure chests that contained pet charms. I then paused my recording and forgot to unpause it, so let's go over the next 10 minutes. With these pet charms, I purchased a training stone, which is like a rare candy, allowing me to upgrade any pet I want all the way to max level at 25. I went back to Stormwind and purchased a new battle pack called Anubisaf Idol. It's considered to be one of the best battle pets and it only cost me 4,000 gold, which sounds like a lot, but it's cheap compared to some of the others. After equipping him, I received an achievement called Plenty of Pets for unlocking 15 unique pets. I then used the stone that I collected on him, getting him to level 25. This came with 4 achievements in itself, which is for getting a pet to level 10, 15, 20 and 25. I also purchased a playful frost skin as it was level 25 on the auction house already and dirt cheap. It'll just help in case Anubisaf Idol has to go against something he's weak to or for whatever reason he dies. Next up I hit level 71, so I was allowed to choose another specialization which I've never seen before. My options were Dark Ranger or Pack Leader. I decided as I'm a Beast Mastery Hunter already, it would only make sense to become even stronger with the animals and become a Pack Leader. For now it doesn't seem to do anything noticeable, it just has a lot more passive skills that work behind the scenes. One of the main benefits of having a pet level 25 is now I can catch wild pets that are also level 25, meaning I can have a full team of 3 to beat any trainer I want, helping me with completion and catching them all. Back to the storyline, I had to do another scenario type thing. I've never done the War Within expansion before, so everything here is new for me. I received 2 achievements after completing it, one of which said the scenario was tier 1, so I assume I had to return to it at higher tiers later down the line. After catching a new frog, I received 2 achievements, one for winning 25 consecutive battles and one for getting 100 achievement points in the pet battle tab. Story-wise, not much is really happening here. The first thing of note happened where this guy died like a boss for real. I decided to queue for an actual dungeon and during it got the upgraded achievement of Money on My Mind for looting 1000 gold. After leveling for a while, I started to feel like I wasn't really making any real progress during these quests and I'm easily high enough to solo any dungeons or raids. So I decided to move on from the War Within and start the real grind of filling up my collections. The first area I plan on completing is the Burning Crusade, aka Outlands. It's definitely not my favourite expansion questing wise, but it is the first ever WoW expansion, and I think it would be a good idea to tackle an expansion first, rather than the entirety of like the Eastern Kingdoms. Now there are 2 major grinds in Outlands, the first one being the Ashes of Allah, which is a mount drop from a boss that can only be done once a week per character in a raid. We'll go into more detail when we actually first give it a go. The second thing is a reputation. I personally believe that Outland's reputation is some of the most repetitive and longest grinding there is, but realistically it only takes 10 minutes a day per reputation. It's just annoying because it can't be rushed in any way. The goal at first is to complete all the regular quests of the entire area. Considering that we're over leveled, it should be very easy. Once the storyline is done, we should have unlocked all the dailies, so we can do the dailies first and then move on to farming bosses and rares daily. The first thing of note when I arrived at Outlands was this lovely lady selling a bunch of easy mounts for cheap gold, giving me the Stable Keeper achievement for having 10 mounts, which is pretty embarrassing when you actually think about it. I caught 2 battle pets this zone and was awarded only 25 unique ones. Whilst I've been questing during this entire journey, I've been buying and eating different food as achievements for eating 50 unique dishes, which I've finally managed to do. Now the first zone is called Hellfire Peninsula, where players pass through the Dark Portal to get to it. It is a zone that is completely scorched, where many former battles have happened and an entire massacre of the Draenei race. The main threat here is the Burning Legion, which are demons, which is the main enemy of the entire game of World of Warcraft. So spoiler, they do not get defeated in this expansion. Near the end of the zone I got an achievement for exploring it fully, which is rather easy when you can fly. I actually managed to get the first use out of the soft foam sword that we purchased in episode 1. What the toy does is that if you hit an enemy with it, it lowers their health to 1%. So basically with any quests that expect you to lower an enemy's health to a percentage, I can't do that because I'm max level, so I just one-shot the enemy. So this sword allows me to do it. Afterwards I handed in a few quests and got an achievement for completing the story in this zone. Story-wise, there isn't really much to say about what happened in this zone because the quests are just a lot of back and going forth and you just help random people. But as we can see, the All the Things achievements tells me what's left to do. There's a few things that are impossible at the moment, which are master pet battles, because you have to do them in order. So I'd have to go back to the Eastern Kingdoms and beat those trainers first, which is the same for archaeology. I can't do any archaeology in Outlands because I need to level it up first in the classic game. Next is the world boss Doom Lord Kazak. He wasn't actually here when I checked, but I can only loot him once a week anyway, so there's no rush to find him. But after googling the boss, apparently he only respawns every 3 days, which is honestly crazy. There's also 3 rares in the zone, but the Outland rares are like no other I've ever known. They're actually rare. Most of them have like 8-hour respawn times, if not longer, so it's not worth waiting around for it to spawn. It makes more sense to do something else and then come back later. I did check for all 3, but none of which were up. Up next are the dungeons and raids in this area. Starting with the raid, it consists of only one boss, a nice and quick one. It has 8 transmogs we need, and after killing it I was given 2 as well as his head, which is the quest we need to hand in. If you didn't know, raids can only be done once a week. Next is the dungeon called Hellfire Ramparts, consisting of 3 bosses and 117 things to do, mainly transmogs from the boss drops. Heroic has 63, which can only be done once a day, but normal has 44, which can be done as many times as you want. As you can see in the chat in the bottom left corner, I'm getting a lot of reputation, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this now. I'm getting reputation for 7 different factions, 6 of them being the main Alliance faction, which is automatic when doing any dungeon. The last one is Honor Hold, which is specific for these 3 dungeons and is the only way to level up your reputation. I'll explain why I need to do it later. After the first run, I was given an achievement for completing it, and I managed to collect 25 things, which isn't too bad at all. I decided to run it again on normal difficulty, taking me to 33 things collected. The second dungeon is called the Blood Furnace, having 94 things to do, so less than Hellfire Ramparts. I was awarded my 2 achievements for completing a dungeon on different difficulties, I got an achievement for completing 5 dungeon quests, and I collected a total of 22 things. Now the last dungeon is called the Shattered Halls, having 95 items to collect, but 22 of them being a quest that I'll get later on. I got my achievements for finishing the dungeon as well as 23 collectibles. Here you can see why I've chosen enchanting for my primary profession. Just 4 runs of a dungeon and I've received all this armour. So even though I could sell it all for gold, I can disenchant it and either sell the regents or level up my enchanting for some profession related achievements. The plan now is to keep going through the Shattered Halls, as it's the only dungeon on a normal difficulty that will get you reputation with Honor Hold. About halfway through I was disenchanting all the armour and got an achievement for doing 250. About 3/4 in, I needed one more drop from this boss, which I 360'd and got the drop, so maybe that's a good luck charm. Near the end of the grind, I got an achievement called Somebody Likes Me, which is for reaching Exalted with one faction. This one specifically was with the Pandarian. After about 2 hours, we managed to reach Exalted with Honor Hold, which is the only reputation in Hellfire Peninsula. The reason we reached max rep is because most reputations have quartermasters, where you can purchase unique items only after increasing rep with them. Therefore, I went over to the quartermaster and was able to purchase around 7 new transmogs and 2 enchanting recipes. I also went over to some other vendors and purchased the rest of the recipes and transmogs in the area. I looked for the 3 rares again before I left, and I actually managed to find Fulgorge. Killing him rewarded me with an achievement for killing a rare of Outland, as well as 1 transmog when he has 4 needed, so I'll have to hunt him down a few more times. Finding Fulgorge gave me hope of the other 2 rares being up, which Voracem Doomspeaker was. He gave me a new transmog too. However, the last rare, Mech Forg of the Wild, was nowhere to be seen. I made my way over to Shatrath City, the capital city of Outland, to level up my professions, enchanting and tailoring. I've killed so many enemies and disenchanted a lot of gear, so I have a lot of dust and cloth to level these up. Enchanting wise, we managed to make it to level 64 out of 75, which is considerably quite good when we've only done 1 zone so far. Tailoring was easier. During the process I received quite the quilt for crafting 100 items, and by the end of it I managed to max out at level 75, awarding me another achievement. Shatrath has a reputation of its own. You got a choice between the Elders or the Scryers. You cannot do both. The Elders are Draenei, which are a race in the Alliance, so I went with them as it made the most sense. Whilst doing the daily fishing and cooking quests, I received an achievement for catching 50 fish, and finishing both quests meant I've now done 5 daily quests, which is an achievement as well. I also fished from a school, which is a circle in the water where only specific fish are caught, giving me the Old Gnome and the Sea. The next zone is called Zanga Marsh. It's a mushroom-filled land with it being 50% water. The scenario and circle are currently investigating while wildlife is struggling here, and it's believed to do with the hostile Naga, a serpent-like creature. Whilst questing, I found a rare roaming around, giving me one of the 4 transmog it drops. Knowing this was up, I decided to check for the other 2 rares in the area. Martikar was wandering around too, and he dropped the 1 transmog he has, so I won't be having to kill him again. I caught the last unique battle pet in the area, rewarding me building a team for 25 pets. Considering the amount of water in this zone, there was a fair bit of fishing to do. One achievement called the Limnologist was to catch 42 different freshwater fish, a few of them being here in Zangramarsh. Whilst fishing, I found a book that teaches me to spot schools of fish on a minimap, which is also Fish Don't Leave Footprints achievement. Flying around, I got Explore Zangramarsh, or you guessed it, Exploring Zangramarsh. After completing the non-existent storyline, we got our achievement, so now it's time to grind a few things. Starting off with the raid in the area, the Serpentshire Cavern. It consists of 6 bosses with 67 things to collect. One of the bosses is hidden in a big school where you can fish him up. It's a good thing I've been fishing a lot recently, because he's a big boy. One of the other bosses dropped a battle pet, a pretty cool tide skipper. After the last boss, I got an achievement for finishing the raid. We ended it with 26% done, so it's going to take a few weekly resets to 100% it. There's 3 dungeons here again. The first one is the Slave Pens, 87 things to collect. By the end of it, I got my 2 achievements for the dungeon and 12 things collected. The next dungeon is the Steam Vault, consisting of 3 bosses. Realistically, all these dungeons are the same. We're going to have to go back and forth killing the bosses, hoping we'll get the transmogs. We did get our usual 2 achievements for completing the dungeon, which now I'm going to start leaving out of the video because it's such a simple achievement and almost every dungeon in the game has the 2 achievements. The last dungeon is called the Underbog, which is actually quite important. Killing any creature inside this dungeon rewards reputation with both factions found within Zangramarsh, which are the Cenarian Expedition and Sporgar, both of which will need to max out for collectibles and an achievement or 2. After a decent amount of time, Sporgar hit Exalted, giving me a specific achievement for that faction. The Cenarian Expedition is a bit slower, so I decided to take a break from dungeoning for a while. I went round to different vendors within the area who sold cooking recipes, which in the process gave me Lunch Lady for learning 25 different recipes. Now Sporgar is at max reputation, I can purchase items from its quartermasters. However, they don't deal in gold, they deal in glow caps, which can only be found throughout the zone. I need 170, which is a hefty sum, so I got out the TomTom add-on and got waypoints to where they all were. It's pretty handy if I do say so. After collecting enough, I purchased all the transmogs available as well as a new battle pet called a tiny Sporebat. Before logging off for the night, I decided to check for rares one last time. Coalfang Emissary was up, a rare we haven't found before, as well as Boglurker was up, giving us another transmog from him. After having some time to think about what's next, I decided to move on to the storyline, as we'll be needing to unlock daily quests within Outlands. It's best to get them unlocked now so we can start doing them daily as soon as possible. There are 2 main factions that can only get reputation through daily quests. These are the Neverwing in Shadowmoon Valley and the Ogrilar in Blade's Edge Mountain. Starting with Shadowmoon Valley, the first thing I wanted to do was tame a new pet. In this zone, there's a mob called Uvaros, who is an elite fellhound. He's pretty cool as he has a unique ability that enrages both you and your pets, increasing your attack speed. Shadowmoon Valley is the home to the Black Temple, where Illidan Stormrage is currently ruling. He's the main villain of the Burning Crusade. Shadowmoon is known to be the bleakest zone in WoW, not in a bad way, but that's how it's meant to be. It's completely overrun in fell liquid, which is demon magic. The story is about helping Alders from the capital against the demonic forces, as well as helping a man named Akama betrayed Illidan, who will aid in the assault against the Black Temple. After a while, I unlocked the Neverwing faction, who are actually bad guys that have enslaved the Neverwing dragons, and we were in disguise helping them, but actually trying to dismantle what they have. Now there is one secret way to speed up reputation with them. Scattered around the island are Neverwing eggs, which you can turn in for reputation. However, they are extremely rare. I did manage to find one during my travels, which is actually pretty lucky. A few more quests later, and I stumbled upon another rare named Krator. These rares are normally a lot harder to find, but I'm in war mode, which is like a separate instance from your average player, so there's not as many people killing them. Recently finding the rare, I thought it'd be a good idea to check for the third, who also happened to be up. There is an achievement to kill every rare in Outland, so that's good progress. However, each rare has 4 transmogs I'll need, so I'll be hunting them at least 4 times, if not more. By the way, it is a lot more than 4. The next zone is Blade's Edge Mountain. The zone is all mountains, surrounded by sharp tipped rocks going the entire way around it, making it impossible to navigate without a flying mount. Whilst questing, we came across another rare out of the blue, so I decided to check for them all, even ones in a new zone which were all up. I had a new tactic for finding them, which is setting a macro to target them if they're within range, which is actually very effective, more so than the add-ons. This will make finding them very easy, at least if they're up. I managed to make my way over to the Ogrilar faction, but there's also another faction called the Shatari Skyguard, where you get reputation for both. So now, every day, I will be doing the dailies for them, as well as Neverwing, expecting it to take at least a month to reach Exalted. The storyline for this zone is about the conflict between the ogres and orcs. The ogres are being ruled by Gruul, who has a bunch of kids that we have to go around and kill. Gruul himself is a raid boss in the zone, which we'll be doing very soon. Starting off on a new day, I did my dailies with both factions. With the Neverwings, I was able to find 3 eggs, and even got one as a drop from an enemy. This was able to take me to the next level with the Neverwing, which is friendly. This unlocks more daily quests within the mines, where I found another 6 Neverwing eggs. This is actually huge because every like 3 I find, I save myself a day of grinding dailies, and no one likes doing dailies. After completing them, I went back to the Blade's Edge mountain to complete the storyline, moving on to the next zone called Neverstorm. It is covered in magical currents, making the entire area purple. The main town is called Area 52, where you assist goblins in scientific endeavours. There is a famous raid here with the final boss being Kel'Thas Sunstrider, as well as a very famous, very sought after mount. I purchased a rare drink from a vendor, and after drinking it I got its happy hour somewhere for drinking 25 different beverages. I also got the breadwinner for making 10,000 gold from quests. For now, I'm going to finish the storyline in every zone in Outlands, as factions reappear in zones where their quartermaster isn't, and doing their story quests in these zones will still give reputation. So once all the quests are done, the only way to level up the factions will be dungeons, so we can clean up the rest there. Now I finally managed to get inside a battleground, which is where you fight as a team against other real players in different game modes. This battle is called the Seething Shore, where you have to mine ore and gain points for doing so. I received Claim Jumper for mining an ore within the first 30 seconds, an Honourable Kill for assisting in a kill, and Seething Shore Victory for obviously winning the game. Continuing on with questing, I got the achievement for completing 1,000 quests. I had a quest that needed me to punch an enemy a few times, so I had to get res sickness to lower my damage. But intent of trying to die, I actually survived, which is an achievement for surviving a fall of over 65 yards. Whilst doing another escort quest, I decided to continue to level up my enchanting, where I was able to get it to max level, awarding me working in Hellfire for having 2 primary professions maxed out in Outland. This will allow me to now sell all armour I get, giving me some extra gold. I was able to find a rare that goes by the name Chief Engineer Lorthander. He only has 1 transmog, which he gave me, so it's nice to be able to tick him off permanently. It was a Sunday at the point of recording, so I decided to do the raid in Neverstorm, which is called Tempest Keep. This raid has a very sought after mount named Ashes of Allah that looks exactly like the first boss. However, this boss does not drop it. It is the last boss, Kel'Thas Sunstrider, and after killing him, we did not get it, as expected. I actually remember a family member trying this mount like 10 years ago, and they didn't get it even after like a year of trying, so it's going to be a long grind. With the Neverstorm storyline finished, I moved on to Terracar Forest. There isn't much going on here. The Terracar operate in the north, so we go around killing those, and in the south is the Bone Wastes, where the Arkan Dune was blown up by the Shadow Council. I unlocked the new quest with the Neverwing faction, where I had to keep up whilst flying against various NPCs as they threw fireballs at me. After beating the last guy and becoming top racer, I unlocked Sky Shattered. I checked for rares all over and was able to find Bog Lurker in Zangramash. He only had 1 transmog left to give, which he actually dropped, so he's done forever now. Doing dailies with the Ogrilar, there is an achievement related to one of them by getting it done within 2 minutes that I was able to do. It was now Monday, so I needed to get the raids done before Wednesday's reset. I did the Black Temple where I faced off against Illidan Stormrage. There's no mount chances here, so there's nothing of note to mention. Questing in Terracar Forest took me over to Sketis, a zone inside the forest. This area also has daily quests for Shatari Skyguard, but they're located with the Ogrilar, where they share reputation with them, so I'm not too worried about doing these dailies. Moving on to Nagrand, the last zone in Outland that we haven't explored. Nagrand is a beautiful area, completely filled with grass and floating islands. The storyline mainly follows Hemet Nessingwari, where you go around hunting different animals. Starting us off, I caught a Clefthoof, rewarding me Outland Tamer for catching a battle pet in every zone. I received Outland Angler for fishing in every school that Outland has to offer. After another daily run of the Neverwing dailies, I was able to get 8 eggs, which is a lot. A nice tip that appears to be working: if you ever need to level reputation here, come earlier in the morning with war mode on, and you should be done in less than a month, as all the eggs haven't been looted. It's safe to assume I'm also doing the dailies of Argilar every day, but if nothing interesting happens, I won't add it in. Same with the rares from every zone. Carrying on with questing in Nagrand, I fully explored it, meaning I've now fully seen the entirety of Outland, awarding me Outland Explorer. I received Hills Like White Elect for completing Hemet's storyline. I'm not quite sure why it's an achievement, because all I did was go around and slaughter the local wildlife, but I'll take it. I went back to the capital briefly. Here I was able to level up my cooking to max, which is an achievement, as well as buying a lot, and I mean a lot, of tailoring recipes, which will eventually need to craft for transmogs. This prompted me to head back to Stormwind City and level up classic cooking to max. This is pretty easy, as the ingredients are dirt cheap on the auction house. The reason I did this is because the daily cooking quests in Shetrath give classic cooking recipes that I need to actually learn for it to be added to my collection progress. During the process, I earned Short Order Cook for learning 50 cooking recipes, Journeyman Cook for reaching skill level 150, and Expert Cook for reaching level 225. One of the cooking recipes I needed was in Tanaris, the same area where the Cavern of Times is. This place is where you can replay old storyline dungeons and raids, 3 of which are tied in with the Burning Crusade. I caught a new pet found here, rewarding me local pet mauler for winning pet battles in 10 different zones. I decided to do the raid here, the battle for Mount Hyjal, as it was now Tuesday, 1 day before the weekly raid reset. And this raid gives a reputation with the Scale of the Sands, a reputation that can only be earned through this specific raid. Once the raid was done, I unlocked a Classic Cook while maxing out, you guessed it, Classic Cooking. The last raid Outlands has to offer is the Sunwell Plateau. It's not actually in Outlands, but rather on the island of Quel'Danas, which you can get to through a portal in Shakrath City. The main boss is Kil'jaeden, the actual end boss of the Burning Crusade, and the believed leader of the Burning Legion. Completing this raid gave me Outland Raider for killing the end boss in every raid. Going back to Outland to continue the Nagran storyline, I handed in my daily fishing quest, rewarding me Old Man Barloned for completing the 5 different fishing quests. The rewards for the dailies is a bag of fishing treasures with random loot inside. This one actually gave me a cute pet named Snarly. Finishing the last quest for Nagran marked the end of Outland's storyline with Lore Master of Outland. Now starts the real grind where we run rares, rep and dungeons for all the transmogs before we move on for the next expansion. But I think for now, this marks a good place to end this video. Percentage wise, we're sitting at a pretty epic 71.37% for Outland, and overall for the entire game a respectable 4.74, which is a 4.2 increase from the first episode. If you did enjoy watching, please subscribe to show me, and I will see you in the next one where we hopefully are 100% the Burning Crusade.